But moving on, topic number 4 here. Dan, our boy, Aroldis Chapman has officially signed with the Kansas City Royals, a 1-year, $7.5 million deal. It's kind of sad. It's bittersweet. I know a lot of people are celebrating Aroldis Chapman kind of no longer being a Yankee, but I think you kind of stand on the same boat as me on this one. That Chapman had some fun moments as a Yankee, and I
Yeah.
think that overall, I mean, even though he had a lot of big blown moments that kind of counteract it, I think that Aroldis Chapman was a good Yankee, not a great Yankee, and I also don't think that he was a bad Yankee. I think that he was a good Yankee. What do you think?
Yeah. I think the last time we may have talked about this in a similar conversation was maybe when he got hurt in
When he
September
fled?
but I think it was before he went AWOL, like talking about grading his career. If that never happened and you never had, because the postseason homers are one thing. I mean, obviously he gave those up. You look at his postseason career ERA with the Yankees, I think it's actually like in the twos. And, we've talked about it before. Like when you're closing the playoffs, you're not always put into the best situation possible. Like, whatever. If you just had the performance on the field, look at it as a whole, I would probably give Chapman like a B, a nice B, maybe like a B minus, because he wasn't great, but also was pretty
Okay.
good for us for a while. The tattoo infection was whack. You have obviously him going AWOL at the end, and just never really seemed to be like a great guy, like all that stuff when you factored into the on the field performance. Like I won't call him a D, but I can't give him anywhere past like a C minus.
If I had to give him a letter grade, I'd probably go C plus. Just because I
C at
mean
the
you
most for
could
me. I
go
couldn't do a C
C,
plus.
C plus.
C plus,
Just
that means it's
because
on the verge of a B though, and a B is like that shit at the end was fucked, bro. Like that's so unacceptable out of a baseball player, which I know you know, but
no,
it's
I
just like
know.
can you believe he did that, bro? Like he finds out he's on the playoff roster, he just bolts for fucking Miami. And how
No,
about Kansas City, by
I
the way? I
get it.
never would have imagined fucking Aroldis
Okay,
Chapman with
yo,
Kansas
this is
City.
actually really funny because when I first saw that he's going to the Royals, the first thing that popped in my head is like, yo, imagine Aroldis Chapman living in Kansas City. I want like a reality show, like
Yeah,
documenting like his day to day in Kansas
I
City.
know, dude. I can't
But
imagine.
I mean, kind of just like I think like defending the C plus a little bit is that I think I'll always have like a soft spot for like Chapman in terms of just because I'm looking back at like April, May 2021. And I still go on the record in saying this, that 2 months of Aroldis Chapman to start the 2021 season was the most dominant pitcher I have ever seen in my life. And I've said that numerous times and I will continue to stand by that. But I think I'll always have like a little soft spot just because of those 2 months,
The
right?
times were, dude, there were some really good times with Aroldis Chapman, and like regular season wise, until like the midway through 2021, like his regular season resume with the Yankees was awesome. And you mentioned April of 2021. You responded, or you tagged me in a video earlier, which I'll play in a moment. But I replied to that saying April 2021, Aroldis Chapman was literally Mo, because once he put that splitter into play, which I feel like he just stopped using, or like
Basically pre-spider tack, really.
yeah, which I never really thought Chapman was like a big took big advantage of that, but I guess he did because his numbers definitely fell off after. But yeah, dude, how good was Aroldis Chapman in April of 2021? We'll ask a very drunk Dan Rourke.
Loves him. His fan base loves him. The game's over. I don't give a fuck. The game's currently going on, but the game is over. Chapman's in. He's unhittable. Yankees win. Let's go. Sweet tomorrow. Let's go.
That was against, I believe, the Houston Astros, right?
Yeah.
Their first trip to Yankee Stadium in 2021.
I will say that. I mean, we've been to like numerous playoff games and awesome games. For some reason, that was one of my favorite games I've ever been to. I think
Yeah,
also because the stadium was at like 20% capacity or something
but
like
it
that.
felt like fucking
Dude, it felt so much fun. Like we had an entire section to ourselves, basically. It was a great time.
yeah. I
And
remember
I think that
Stan
that
was
video
going
kind of
off
said.
too. Like that was a good ass
Do you
time.
remember what
But
Judge did that game?
he went over 5 Ks.
Yeah.
That whole series was rough for him, but then he bounced
Yeah.
back in the road series against them. But yo, Chapman, I wish him well. I guess like I would like to
Sure.
see him do well because at the very least, like he's badass. Like when he was really going, like I think we talked about a couple weeks ago. There was a video circulated on Twitter, like with the whole Mike Brosseau thing when the Rays were throwing at the Yankees, and then Chapman comes in, just starts throwing at people's heads. Like when Chapman was good and he was in his like intimidating mode, like he was the most badass pitcher I think I've ever seen. So like I
Yeah.
guess I do have a soft spot for him a little bit. I hope he does well, but I'm very glad that this 10-year is over. We can move on, which, by the way, 7 years, dude. Can you believe that? 2016, 17, 18, 19,
Yeah,
20,
it's
21,
crazy.
22. 7 years of Aroldis Chapman. I feel like just yes. I remember I was in Pizza Hut when I found out I was a sophomore in high school when I found out we traded for him.
Came out of nowhere. I mean,
Yeah,
that
because
kind
at
of
first he was
started
going
like
to
a
the
new era of
Dodgers,
the
and
Yankees
then
baseball.
yeah,
And
that's
then
when
got us Glaber too.
our
So
the most marketable side of the Yankees was their bullpen and no runs DMC. Remember that?